today we're going to talk about this Christmas get-togethers and how we can prep ourselves for them, and how to get through them a little bit more, so we still feel like okay with how things are going for ourselves, okay? Because often if we don't listen to our body and things like that, and we go into reactive mode and we do things and then that we later on regret as well, or we just really feel horrible afterwards and being fully triggered and have flashbacks. So let's get into the prep first. So how do I prep myself, and then we'll talk a little bit about what I do when I'm at things like that. It's not just for Christmas, it's really any big get together. And this can be weddings and birthday parties and things like this as well. Okay, so first off, we want to be very clear in ourselves in what am I okay with and what not. Okay, so get yourself a piece of paper, draw a line through the middle and write this out. Okay, so you know, are you clear on that? Where is that line there? Because the boundaries is something that we can practice in advance. So we really, when you know that when that person does whatever that thing is, I am not okay with that. And then you can practice that. You can visualize. I use visualization exercises for that, where I really get myself into that moment. And I know the kind of feelings that will come up for me. I know how my body reacts to those things. And then I imagine how I would handle that situation from my higher self or my ideal self, how I would kind of resolve that so I feel good within myself. So I practice that. I practice saying it out loud to myself as well. Okay? So that's one thing, or two really. We want to be clear on it and we want to practice it. But the third thing is, are you very clear on who you want to be as a person at that event? Really think about that. When you're showing up, are you a person, are you the one who comes in, you bring the joy and the cheer and you love to sing, and you know, perhaps you're a little bit of an extrovert, you love that kind of showing up that way. Is this you? Or are you more the person, you just like being helpful, or you're nurturing or loving or have conversations or whatever it is? Are you very clear on who you want to be? I did a lot of journaling on that because I was not so clear on that. So if you're not clear on that either, then it's normal. It's normal because it takes time to get to know ourselves a little bit, and it changes as well as we heal, as we're going through our healing journey. The way we want to show up for ourselves, it changes as well. And fourth, what I'd always have is, and that's what most people don't, so I feel this is perhaps the most important one, is to have a plan for afterwards. You know, do you plan? Because it doesn't, whether this is that you're going to an event, whether there is that toxic person there, or maybe there's a number of toxic people there that you really struggle with, or perhaps it's more like for myself, I am very energetically, I can feel other people's energies. I'm very, my senses, I can not just feel all the noises and that being that overstimulated or quickly overwhelmed before that sensory stuff. Is that you? Okay. So for that, because of that, I always have to have a plan in place for afterwards as well. Allowing myself to have some me time to ground myself. So for me, that me time to get over that sensory overload is I go home and I just lie down. There's no lights on, there's no music on, there's nothing. Just for me to settle again, settle that overload, that busyness in my, that's like a buzzing. I don't know if anyone else experiences it that way. Please let me know. I used to really be hard on myself for being so easily overwhelmed with those kind of things, but I got to learn how to use that in a beneficial way for myself. To, you know, I'm a coach, and I am an energy coach. I use that in my coaching as well. So I love that. I learned to use that in a good way, so it doesn't, in, you know, the way I can I don't know, the channeled energy, but that's not the topic for today. Okay, but we can talk about the energies in a different way. So we just do the planning for afterwards. So for me it is lying down. Perhaps for you it is, maybe you need that to call one of your friends to really debrief, because that, you know, that this toxic person is always gonna criticize you or make you feel less than and things like that. So you have a person who can put a reality check for you, know, that help you to realize, no, that you are an okay person, you're worthy, and you know, really help you in that kind of sense. Or maybe it is a walk in nature, whatever it is for you, but have a plan in place for afterwards. Okay, so then going to the event, one thing that I do, I have one here. Can you see that? I love crystals. I haven't been buying crystals for a decade now, since I found out in what horrific conditions these people work to get crystals out of holes, and there's children involved. So I feel, but I treasure the ones that I have so much more now. But I like wearing, like I put that on because I never usually wear a bracelet. That helps me. This is like a cue that, because I have a clear intention as I'm going there, the person who I want to be, how I want to show up, and the bracelet can help me. Or sometimes if you wear the watch always on your right hand, wear your watch on the left hand, because it feels different, and it can help you as a reminder on how you want to be, and the grounding and so forth. Okay, so I like wearing things like that. But one other thing I do, and that might sound a little bit weird, but I think it's a healthy thing as well, but I like to drink a lot of water. And that started, I don't know whether you have, I quit drinking like about 15 years ago. So initially when I quit drinking, it was really hard going to those events, because everyone constantly wants to offer you drinks. Like, just have that one, you know, oh, there's not that much alcohol in it, and all this. It was really hard to say no and stop now, because it's 15 years. All my friends know that I don't drink, so people don't offer alcoholic drinks to me anymore. But I started to, for that. If that's still an issue, what I always did is you bring your own kind of drink, make it a special kind of thing, make sure you always have something in your hand, because if you have a drink in hand, people don't offer you another one, and things like that. So, but I drink water. I drink a lot of water. It keeps my body hydrated, and you know, helps me not getting headaches and things and so forth. But if you drink a lot, you have to go to the bathroom a lot. And the bathroom is always my escape, because it is a bit quieter there. It gives me a little bit of me time. It allows me to do some grounding exercises in there. Whether this is more kinesthetic, like more with my body, or whether it's just a breathing exercise, a quick visualization exercise. I like to do bubbles. I always imagine it, do that with my clients, to create bubbles around you, to help you, especially with toxic people, to let their stuff, kind of the toxic words and things that they say to you, let them just bounce off. We don't want to take that in and make it ours. We are essentially carrying their toxicity, then that is their stuff. We just want to let that bounce off. It's theirs to keep. So I like doing things like that. So the bathrooms always help me. That's kind of an escape for me. But if it's like family get-togethers, you know the building quite well. So maybe there is a place in that house where you can go. Maybe there's another backyard, or maybe you can sit in a car for a little bit, or maybe there is one of your relatives, siblings, or something who you can go for a quick walk around the block, which is give you that little bit of break from that sensory overload. You know, especially when there's lots of families coming together and there's lots of children, it can get really noisy. And just that walk around the block, or just being a little bit more distance for a little while, sometimes helps me to just get a breather for my sensory overload there. And I want to say one more thing to toxic people, because sometimes, you know, especially if they're family, you know, from years coming up, that they're always toxic. Certain people are always toxic, and sometimes we still go there and we hope, oh, maybe this time it's going to be different. And it's almost like setting ourselves up for failure. It's like, they're going to be toxic, so I just go in there with the expectation they're going to be doing their thing. They just do it every year, but I am not taking it personally. That is their stuff that they do. I'm not taking it personally. Like, I have my bubble and I've done the prep work. I know what I'm okay with and what not. Okay, so when a person crosses that boundary, give yourself the permission to get up and leave. And especially the more toxic the environment is, the less explaining you need to do. Okay, so because I live in Australia, I don't have family here, so I get invited to friends. So they're beautiful friends, it's a nurturing thing, so there's no toxicity there. If it's just a sensory overload, and that is the reason why I choose to leave, then I might say something, because my friends might really say, what's going on? Everything seemed okay. And they're very understanding and accepting, but toxic people are not. Okay, so, and when you start to explain why you're leaving, then it's just going to be guilt tripping or blaming you for ruining the get together, and that you're always going to be difficult, and all these kind of stuff that we don't need. It's okay to just say, okay, it's time for me to go, and just walk out. Okay, when that comes, it's totally okay. So I decided to go, or what, just very short, matter of fact, and you pack up and you go. Okay, because the thing is, whether you're going to be there or whether you're going to leave, they're going to make you feel miserable anyway. And I'd rather leave and let them talk, and then I don't hear anymore what they say, and you just out, and you can do then your grounding and remind yourself that you are a worthy person, that you don't, that's their trauma response, or how they're coping with their things. I like the book The 4 Agreements for that. It's helped me so much to understand what's going on for them, and I don't have to take that on board and or take that personal. Okay, I had a lot of notes here. I'm hoping, I can't remember whether I covered it all or not. But please keep asking questions, or down below share your tips as well in the comments. How do you help yourself in those family get-togethers, or whether there is toxic people involved, or whether you are a bit like me and easily overwhelmed in the sensory overwhelm, or energetically. I'm curious if you're that person too, because I'm curious to learn what you do, because we can all learn from each other there. So thank you for being here, and I am looking forward to hearing from you. And in the meantime, I'm sending you a lot of love and rainbows to brighten up the tough times just a little. See you guys. Bye.